Do you get the little red thing? Okay,
Now
and
it's live.
you are live. It's telling you are live.
We are live.
And they put an exclamation point on it. I, for one, appreciate that. I'm a ... guy, and I'm an exclamation point guy. Welcome to another installment, another serving of Klooby Snacks. We are in the first of 4 flavors, loving flavored. This is overall Klooby Snack number 5. Can you believe how quickly we're going through it? We've got a baker's dozen of loving flavored, then we're going to go to ego flavored, then discipline flavored, then integrity flavored. But like tonight kind of represents like darn near 10% of the way through the year, right? So by now you guys know I am Jeff Klubeck, but what I really am is Abby's dad. What's happening, Abby? Talk to us. How are you?
I'm amazing.
All right. You can see that Patty is here and Sue is here. And, no time like the present. Sue, if you don't mind, one of the things that we're wanting to do by the time the year is done is actually read all of the advanced praise that we've been given. But we've been given so much advanced praise that you can't like read all of it before any given tip. So Abigail calculated that if we can get to one piece of advanced praise every 3 live streams or so, that we'll nail it. By the end of the year, we'll get it all done. Patty was kind enough to read hers a couple weeks back. And if you can see my screen, Sue, yours is up. And if you don't mind, would you care to read your little bit of advanced praise before we warm up and get into Klooby Snack number 5 tonight?
Sure, happy to. What an absolute honor to read this manuscript. I have laughed, except I just lost it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, hang on. I got it. How about that? Is that big enough?
Yeah, no. I got it now. I have laughed, gotten emotional, enjoyed the beautiful analogies, the insights, and the immense wisdom sprinkled through these wonderfully engaging Klooby Snacks. Abby's sassy comments have made me chuckle, especially as I think of my own daughter's responses to me at times. However, the honesty and rawness throughout is truly heartwarming. The collection of Klooby Snacks is an incredible gift for any parent-child relationship. Thank you, Jeff and Abby.
All right. Very cool. Very, 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 very cool. I think that it says that we're still... Hang on, add to stage. There we go. I'm getting used to the controls and everything. So, Abigail, we also know, we talked about this before, that there's a picture of us in this Klooby Snack. You want to talk about that and I'll cue it up?
Yeah, there's a little picture of me in this because it coincides with what's being talked about inside Klooby Snack. But it's me as a Girl Scout after bridging. I have been in Girl Scouts for 13 years now. It's my 13th year, 13th and final year. So this is there's a photo of me bridging in this, becoming upping to the next level. It's really, really cute picture. So just had
coming
to be
of age, growth. Yeah, we're communicating growth. And anyway, it's kind of just as to set it. Yeah, to do my own setting. We are in loving flavored, like I said. And I, for one, I don't know if we'd made a big deal out of it, but here's this like cute little confrontational, but we're like playing around. I love this night where we were the Super Bowlers.
It was
when we went to the Girl Scout bowling event.
That night was 6 years ago yesterday.
Yeah. That's incredible. And then, now here we are like on the same team, yay, right? Like, yeah, I wouldn't want to face these two. So very super cute. And what's interesting though, Abigail, 6 years, that's the critical time where teenage girls and dads struggle, I think, more. Like the first 12 years, first 11 years, it wasn't the same. We didn't have the same challenges as we had the last 6 years. So this is a very sweet and innocent time for us to remember, of course. But as we get to tonight's Klooby Snack, now we've got this. Here you are in your bridge. So I think that sets the table for us. And I'm going to go ahead without any further ado. And I'm going to go ahead and read Klooby Snack number 5. And then I'm going to give you the floor, Abby. And here it goes. It goes a little something like this. It takes as much confidence to be led as it does to lead.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Normally you say like, Abby, you're
go for it, Abby. Go ahead. Take it away.
There we go. Okay. I've always loved being a leader. I loved seeing my ideas in action and using my knowledge to lead a group. Because of my love to lead, I've always struggled with taking direction from others. When I have my own ideas, it's difficult for me to stay silent and listen to other people. Through my countless group science projects over the course of my high school career, I've learned that leadership comes in many different forms. Leadership isn't solely the person speaking loudest in the group, nor is it the person who makes the final decisions in a group. Leadership is organization, leadership is effort, leadership is setting examples. Leadership is not determined by your speaking volume compared to the rest of the groups. Naturally, I do enjoy being the loud voice in the group. I love to share my ideas and then see them put into action. I've always thought that my volume equated to my confidence and that by being loud, I'd be perceived as confident or intelligent. However, true confidence comes from trusting in your intelligence so much that you don't need to raise your volume to compensate for your lack of ideas. Shouting out ideas and direction is easy. Listening to other people's ideas is not.
All right. Wow. So what I'm going to do here is open it up to anybody. Like Sue and Patty, you've taken the time to be with us today. Before I jump in and comment a little bit, let me honor the fact that you guys are here and see what you guys have to say about the Klooby Snack itself or Abby's insights and in her response to it.
No.
Anybody? That's that radio silence.
I was waiting for Sue to say something.
Oh, well, did we lose her? She's with the streaming audio only. Oh, there she goes. There she goes.
Yeah. Okay. No, you go, Patty. You go.
Well, I was interested in listening to your response about, the volume of your voice being indicative of a leader, because I always think that for my leadership, I like to keep my voice low because I want to empower the people in whatever group I'm in so that they can, raise their voice and be heard. Is kind of one of the things that this Klooby Snack brought up to my mind. And it's a little different than yours, but then again, we are different and we've had different experiences also. Mm-hmm. But I think that you hit on something that is very telling in a group, that people will want to be loud sometimes to show their confidence.
Yeah, in the well, Sue, what do you got here before I jump in? I've got a couple things to share.
Sure. I was chuckling about this because I can relate to it so well, even now as an adult. I'm in a situation at the moment where I'm like, yeah, I want to be the one. I want to be the one leading. I don't want to listen to everybody else. and I'm actually having to go, well, just sit back a little bit and let the other people speak and guide them if I need to, but let them do what they need to do. So it's just, I was having a chuckle, and I was going to say, Abby, I'm not sure if when you have that strong sense of leadership, maybe it never goes away, and maybe it's the skill is tempering and acknowledging the situation where you have to just check in with yourself a little bit and go, okay, I just need to slow down a little bit here.
Well, this is great. This is great so far. As conversations go, let me invite anybody out there that may be watching. There's time to join us. We got plenty of time left. Only 8 minutes in. We've read a testimonial. We've read the snack, and we've read Abby's response. There's so many things I'd like to offer here. Not all of them all at once, by the way, because I want to hear from Abby as well. Now that you're done reading, that's one of the beautiful things about these. We're going to focus on what your thoughts are when you read, but now it's already so many months since you wrote what you read that you've got new or additional thoughts tonight that I want to get to as well. But one of the things that I want to say is that in these scenarios that we were talking about so far tonight, it's like, when you have the confidence, when you know you've got a contribution, when you know you're excited about your ideas and you believe in your ideas, and you have to sometimes temper that with sitting back and seeing what else emerges, or Patty says, empower others, right? That gets the balance, right? But there's other scenarios entirely where we're not excited, where we don't know necessarily if we have the answers, where we truly are in a position where we have to follow. We have to look for leaders. We need guidance, right? It's fun to play around with the instances where I know I have an amazing contribution right now, but let me keep it in my pocket and let me rise above and get everybody's best shot onto the table so that I can integrate that with my good idea and playing more calculated with all the aces up your sleeve. But it's different when, when I've been down in the dumps or rock bottom or humbled, or I've made mistakes, or I've had to suffer consequences and had to regress or go backward or start over. And now I want to avoid the mistakes that I made, or I want help. And now I'm looking for leaders, right? And that if you've got any track record at all of being the one with the good ideas, of being the one that makes it happen, it's hard now. It takes this confidence, this courage to step back into the humility and the acknowledgement that I need help right now. And so that's different than playing with all the aces up your sleeve. There's other things I have to say about this, but I wanted to offer that one before I ask for some of your thoughts. Abby, what do you got?
Well, one thing I think about with this is like when I do theater with like my directors, and when I'm in a show, like me as the actor, one of my jobs is to take direction. And obviously we don't have to do exactly what the director recommends or whatever, but we do what's true to the character, but also we have to take direction. And there's been so many times recently, I'm in a show right now where we've kind of just ran a scene and I've gotten to just kind of, they tell us to just do what feels right, do what feels true to your character. And then I've been, after doing whatever blocking, whatever movements feel right, it's like sometimes I say something and I'm like, I feel I need to move over here on the stage. I need to do this. And then I've been told like, oh, I think that this would work better. And like in those moments where like something feels so off, having to be able to like, just, yep, I don't know everything in the situation, and whatever that's been really hard for me. And I've been dealing with that recently. We're currently blocking my show, and there's been so many times where I'm just like, I don't think this is right, and having to like kind of not like know my place and just whatever. That's been difficult. That's a current thing I'm struggling with right now, is just taking direction when I feel so differently about something has been very, very difficult.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like my mom used to tell me, Jeff, pick your battles wisely. Right. And so if you've only got so many shots, like number one, you want to polish those shots, and then you want to use them, sparingly, or you want to use them judiciously, etc. So it's heady because, in a world we live in, there are politics, there are egos, there are authority structures and boundaries, and all of that stuff. So we get mature, and like you said, Sue, even as an adult, you chuckled, right? But what we're playing is a maturity game, right? With an awareness, a situational awareness for politics or dynamics or etc. But back to one of the things that I wanted to bring up. Let me switch this out here, and I'm Jeff, everybody. and it's no. I get to feature myself every now and then. I'm playing around with the controls and the moving parts of it all. But from the literature perspective, when I'm teaching group communication in the classroom, right? Because for example, your good friend Jax is here today. Jax, is he in the background? Is he in the room? Is he in the house? Jax, shout out to good friend San Diego State Aztec Jax. All right,
he's here.
That's all right, Jack. Just I want to acknowledge his presence. And talking about public speaking earlier today, and the public speaking class and teaching the classroom. One of the assignments in the general ed public speaking class at San Diego State University is an informative speech on an intercultural topic, and everybody has to take that speech with a partner, right? So it lends itself to us talking about group communication, even though it's a dyad too, and small group communication is 3 or more people, or 3 to 12 people, and then large group is 12 or more. It still brings up, like working with others, managing time, division of labor, budgeting, finishing early, giving time for proofread, share each other's work, integrating the 2 separate pieces into. There's all of these things, right, that have nothing to, like it's your social intelligence, it's your professional EQ. If you right, when we talk about group communication. So theoretically, we talk about the debates. Are leaders born, or are they made? Right? Are you just born a leader? And one of the things that I try to highlight, and to come back around, I'm going to ask you about this, Abigail, because so much of what you wrote was about the loudest voice. That's an extrovert, or that's a high D on a DISC behavioral style, or a high I on a behavioral assessment, right? But being the loudest, or being the flashiest, or commanding the most attention, or that doesn't necessarily mean you're the best leader, because leadership is the totality of qualities that move people from the A to the B. So we got to keep, what's the goal? What's the purpose? What's the destination? Stay true to that. But it's hard when we want to make this contribution and back to balancing behavioral style with leadership skill. What might you guys have to say about that?
Well, one thing I personally have to say is I see the being led and leading within our like father-daughter relationship. What? Hold on, my computer. There's a lot where like obviously like you're the dad and I'm the child, but like I feel like it's always been, like,
quite obviously no
a little bit. Well, sometimes I don't know, but what's it called? I feel like recently with you, I don't know if it's been just this book that has really like kind of jump-started this, but like you've done a lot more surrendering recently, just to my ideas, or there's a lot of just, I don't know, with both of us, because we're both so headstrong, like the leadership stuff, and sometimes we both want to be not even just like a leader, but be right, or be the one to change the other person's perspective, that we don't accept any of that. And I think that I do credit this book for kind of jumpstarting that change, but there's been a big shift, and like you've been like admitting that you've been like learning from me, and then also I have now through this book admitted that I've learned through you. So I see that in our relationship, where it's like we're both so headstrong that it's like sometimes you'll be saying something and I'd be like, oh, he's right, but I'm like, I can't let him know he's right. I'm like, no, I'm right. And then it's like there's been a lot of that where I'm like, does he have a point right now? And I'm like, no, there's no way. Like I'm the right one. And then it's just, there's been a lot of that. But I think that there's been a lot of guards have gone down recently. And there's been a lot of, we are able to be led by the other now. So
yes, agreeing with you. I'm going to say for my part that a lot of it has been organic. But it's been able for me to read the room when the room presents itself. Like there's been opportunities for me to surrender, for me to agree, for me to make space for your ideas, and for me to give up on what I had originally thought in favor of what that's been actually quite easy, right? Especially after the first domino falls. What I want to say here is it was intentional. You might hear me say this, 25 times this year. It was an absolutely intentional thing for me. It was premeditated.
Okay.
When I was going to ask you for help with Klooby Snacks. I didn't know what was going to happen after I asked for help. And so there's a lot of organic, easy surrender after the fact. But it was premeditated that I wasn't going to ask, where were you? And why were you home late? And show me your phone. And what are you doing? And are you being responsible? And stop wasting your time and clean your room. I wasn't going to have any of those conversations with you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. This is like, I addressed some of this in the introduction, and, we are not getting into that tonight, but like, it's part of my, like, my unwavering commitment to, like, I want to be your dad, like, as soon as possible. And as much as I'm able to, and as much as you'll let me. So I was like, well, hey, maybe if I ask for her opinion, maybe if I take an inferior posture, and if I put her in a superior position, I might have more of her attention. And then who knows what might be able to happen after that. And especially if the attention is around something non-threatening, it's creative, it's a project, so I was just focusing, and to the degree, Abigail, I was so intentional about this that I made sure I was sitting down and you were standing up when I asked you. I made sure that even non-verbally, because it's later on, it's a Klooby Snack, that how you're saying what you're saying is in fact what you're really saying. And I was totally intentional. I can close my eyes and see it right now. I'm sitting at the kitchen table. I'm like, hey, Abigail, can I get your help with something? You're like, what? And like, now I'm asking for your help, and I'm looking up to you, and your opinion matters. And I give you the quick, hey, Klooby Snacks, they're more TikTok-y than LinkedIn-y, and I have so much respect for what you've done. And all of this stuff is 100% true.
Yeah.
But I had your listening a little bit better, and I was putting myself intentionally in a position to be led by you. Who knows if you were going to pick my favorites or the ones that I wanted. And then when you started to respond to them and have thoughts about them, it was fun to be like, no, tell me more. like, what do you mean your thoughts? Like, stop it, Jeff. This is great. Let it go. And I've just been riding the wave ever since. So thanks for letting me tell that story. Let me invite Sue or Patty in at this point after some of that, after you and I both shared what we've shared. Maybe there's other thoughts that are coming to mind. What do you guys got? Patty or Sue? Comments or questions? No? Okay. I was
gonna make one comment. What this has been for me in some ways is a trigger to consider what are some creative ways that I can improve the relationship with my own daughter. So Abby, my daughter's 26. So she's a little bit ahead of you, but equally headstrong. And like, often at times I think my opinion doesn't matter and I'm not relevant. And it's just like one of the challenges I set myself this year was to become really conscious of anything that I could look for in terms of shared interest or just something to open up conversation and share ideas. And I was so excited. It was only last week where she happened to pass a comment about a book she was reading. She just finished. And I said, oh, what is it? And it's gave me the title. I said, oh, can I read that? Because she's finished it and moved on to the next one. And I thought, yes. I finally found something where we may actually be able to open up conversation and share ideas, because I have so much to learn from her, and I totally get that the world that, and for you as well, the world that she's grown up is just so much more digital. I didn't have that. I mean, I'm old enough to say computers were only just being built when I started working. So I don't get it in many ways. And I'm definitely open to being led by her, but it's creating the space for her to feel comfortable that I'm actually interested, that I want to hear her opinion, that I value her opinion. So yeah,
it's a healthier door to knock on to get into the room of love. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not enough to say I love you. We have to be loving. We have to focus on what's the behavior. I am going to intentionally take an inferior posture, crossing my fingers that I might have my daughter's attention in a way that I wasn't getting it before. And golly, did that strategy pay off. And I kept on feeding it. It was feeding me. I kept on feeding it, and more and more and more. And what's interesting too, and I'm going to ask you about this now, Abby. Well, first of all, can you see the love a parent has for their kids?
I see it.
And it's like, it's not just your crazy dad. Do you know what I mean? This is a thing. Well, I know I'm crazy. Yeah, but not because anyway, that's besides the point. But I don't want to wait till 26 to your 26. I want to be dad now. But there's all of that. Okay. But another thing is, you know what? It's like I've had these platitudes before where I've come to realization, like, geez, with the ability for people to learn whatever they want to learn, do college students really need teachers or professors, or do they need coaches? Like I have this unproven theory, unsubstantiated, unresearched theory that, and I even floated this by the director of the School of Communication. She tilted her head, and I'm like, no, it didn't come out right. That's not what I meant. I don't mean that, there are good teachers, and we do need teachers. But what I really meant was this generation of learners needs adults to believe in them instead of judge them, needs adults to support them and develop them and invest in them and be vulnerable with them and be in the trenches and take inferior posture instead of saying, I'm older, I know, you guys are tired of, it's dawning on me that what your generation needs is for my generation to fess up about how smart you are and get over our fears about how much we need to learn from you. And I think the sooner we do that, we might have, I want to maybe like create a pocket of Gen Xers that are really dedicated to empowering your generation, Abby. And it starts with what Sue was saying. And Sue, I hope you're echoing what you've heard from me from weeks. Like, I didn't grow up with the phone in my hand. I didn't grow up with the social media, the attention span. I didn't roll out of bed and log on to school during a pandemic. On and on and on and on and on and on and on. I didn't have, I wasn't an author at the age of 17. I wasn't doing live streams every week. I wasn't making money on social media by appearing and influencing. I don't know what's going on with you, and I just want to learn. I want to learn, baby. Teach me. So what do you got, Abby?
I need a more specific question. That was a lot to go off.
Way to go, Abby.
Yeah. So what do you think about the overarching platitude about the movement of pockets of Gen Xers really getting off our high horse and confronting our fears about how much we don't know and really empowering you guys to be the leaders that you're designed to be? That's one. Or two, like how, I know I'm weird and everything, but like parental love for their child and a desire to stay relevant in our kids' lives is like so thick and real. Either of those two.
Okay, I'll start with the second one because I have more to say about that. But I think that throughout, like, more specifically my teen years, there's been a lot more of the, like, I've been able to sense and also like actually heard your fear of not being in my life, or like when I'm super busy and I don't really see you, there'll be like a week where I don't see you, and then you like bring something up about it. And my initial response is just like, it's like, Dad, like what? It's the typical dad. I'm just like, what is he talking about? Like, I live here, whatever. I just have my own stuff going on. And I think then sometimes, like, in response to, if I'm super busy for a couple of days, then you'll be like, oh, well then can we like have like a movie night together and do this? And I'm like, Dad, like whatever. There's been a lot of that where it's like, I don't even know, but I don't think I was ever really able to understand like really where you were coming from with the just you wanting to have a relationship with me and spend time with me. Because to me, it was like, we live under the same house, we have the same last name, like that's enough. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of kids may think that way, where it's like, we come home at the end of the day from our busy plans and it's like our parents are there. So it's like, that's enough, right? I have dinner with you guys once a week. Like that's enough. But I think that at the same time, like, yes, it takes initiative from the parent to try to create the relationship with the kid. But a lot of the time it is the kid, the child, the me.
Once you get the driver's license, we lose control. That's it. It's just, there's like the equator, if you will, of like, energetics, right? Like the water goes down the toilet this way before the driver's license, and it goes down the toilet that way afterwards, right? The little Australia reference there, so I hope you like that.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, but I appreciate the acknowledgement. I mean, that's one of the amazing gifts of this book. And I just wanted to say, Sue, it's not just daddy-daughter, is it? Right? Like, I'm sure Marianne, even though she's behind the scenes and everything, I believe that she's gotten a lot out of this. I think our marriage is benefiting a lot from this. I think that I'm a better dad to your brothers because of this. Do you know what I mean? There's a huge ripple effect. That's one thing. But go ahead with part two, Abigail. What I set the table for you to comment on the global movement for Gen X to be.
Let me share ideas for the entire world.
Yeah.
No, I think there's a lot of, I mean, what I've noticed specifically, like among my generation, I'll see stuff on social media or just like in conversation where people are just like, it's like our generation kind of doubting themselves, being like, no, like no way we're the leaders of the next generation, like whatever, like the next, like we're like, I don't even know. There's a lot of like just like general sense of not like insecurity, but just kind of just like a doubt within my generation and the people, not people I'm around, but just my age, with like, how are we gonna like run anything? How, like whatever, like our generation's going downhill. There's been a lot of that. And I never really thought about the fact that that could be either caused by or fixed by or cured by the help of other generations believing in ours more. And I think there's a lot of advancement specifically with technology that I think that the older generations, not necessarily fear, but I don't know if it's fear, don't understand, or want to avoid, stuff like that, where it's like our generation is so tech savvy, like through like with like the AI, and also just like the use of technology, like technology for advertisements, technology for all this stuff. It's all comes back to technology at some point. And I think that might have contributed to just like the doubt that has been placed on our generation, where it's like we know technology, and I think that older generations kind of frown upon that.
Well, the thing is, I'm a big fan for being honest about it. Sue and Patty, I wonder if you have a comment on this, but I'll never forget it. I think it was the early 1980s, 1980, 81, 82. And my mom and dad came home. We were playing in the streets, like playing football in the streets, and mom and dad come rolling by. And it's like, oh, time out. You got to get to the side and let the car come through. And I remember like my dad rolls down the window. He's like, we got a VCR, like a video cassette recorder machine. So the VHS tapes with like, they were, anyway. And I'm like, later, guys. And I ran home. And mom and dad, one of the things I remember about it was mom and dad, they were immediately like, oh, Jeffrey, set it up and tell us how it works. And so it was like two things for me. Number one, it was like, cool, I'm the smart one. I wasn't intimidated. I got right in, opened up the box, read the instructions. Yeah, I wanted to know exactly every little thing about how this machine worked, because we could play videos, of course, and go rent videos now and watch videos at home, but also we could record stuff that was happening on live TV. And I could record Laker games. A big deal, right? But, like one of the things that hit me at the moment, and in retrospect, it comes up from time to time, was that the older we get, like my mom and dad, they were like kind of lazy. Like they didn't take the time to read. They were happy to just tell me how it works. Just you make it, you figure it out. And I wish they would have picked up the thing and read it, or showed more of an interest in continual learning. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to be honest about the older we get, our old dog new tricks. And so instead of being honest about what we're not learning and the effort that we're not putting in to learn and stay sharp and develop skills and stay cutting edge and current and all of that stuff, there's a tendency, I think, for older generations to just put down and dismiss and discredit the younger generations. And I think it's a cop-out, or it's a product of fear, or it's smoke and mirror for the work that people are doing, because they still need to keep control. And they still, like, I feel it in parenting. Like, I'm the dad, I'm supposed to know better, but I actually get further with you when I don't, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, you guys, do anybody else have thoughts on this? I think this has become like a really interesting conversation tonight in Klooby Snack number 5.
I was interested in Abby talking about your generation not feeling like they're ready to lead yet. And then Jeff, what you said about, your generation, reaching out to younger generations and considering that they have knowledge. And I'm thinking, geez, don't we all need that? I would have liked that when I was in college, etc. So I'm not sure that we have to necessarily break it down into every generation. I think it's more just human interaction, like understanding that, like it says in the Klooby Snack, the confidence to be led, to understand that that none of us have this overarching knowledge that can't be, learned or, disabused in a way. Like Ty Lopez says, you have to have the humility to read a book.
Yeah.
To understand that there's knowledge out there. So
this one hits home because, my mom in particular, right? She always had a story about the successful people. Because and the story was never, I could learn from them.
Oh, well, see, I didn't have.
My mom never had the self-confidence, to the humility to quote unquote read. She would read, but and she was smart, and I learned a lot from my mom and everything. But when it came down to it, if anybody had succeeded, if anybody had achieved something in life, my mom didn't want to have that conversation. She could sit. there was too much shame up front to get to the learning part. She didn't have the self-confidence. And I don't say that as a criticism. I say it as a shame. It's a shame because I think my mom was absolutely super brilliant. And by the way, that comes back to what you were saying earlier, Abigail. Like, yeah, we have the same name, we live under the same roof, but I think you're pretty special. I think you're amazing. I like how your mind works. Like, I want to spend more time with you. Like, I think you're fascinating. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you think? And let me share stuff with you and get your feedback. Like, in other words, like this. I've been wanting this. Like, so it's here. Okay, I'll take it. And some parents never get it at all, or they have to wait, till the mid-20s until children mature into like, oh my God, my parents really did love me, or whatever. I'm grateful for what we're doing now. It's got easily one of the most rewarding things in my life, this little project, and getting to have these conversations every week, gift that keeps on giving. And like I get back to screen sharing. Let me see if I can do this. It's kind of fun.
Remember what Mark Twain said, when he went away to college, his parents got smarter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's good. Can you guys see my screen?
We see the drive, the Klooby Snack drive that you shared to me about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. Like, what am I doing now? Okay, so here's the drive. And so this is for the first 3 weeks, you guys. But look, all of these are little like 1-minute jams. These are all like little 1-minute videos. So the each live stream that we're doing every week is being cut up into all of these little 1-minute reels, clips, shorts, or what have you. So it's like, all of the like personal stuff, just wanting to be a great dad and unwavering commitment, intentionally taking inferior posture and doing whatever it takes to just spend more time with you and interact with you. I want to know how smart you are. I want you to know how smart I am, but I want to share and laugh and, create with, all the good stuff. Right. But in addition to that, that's valuable just in and of itself. But like, to watch you interact with these adults from around the world, Patty and Sue and Charlie and Jennifer and other people that are coming on board, or other people that you've got to learn about through the process, and watching you sign books and seeing, I can stop sharing now, but like all of this collateral, this like literally marketing. Oh no, where's the window?
You got it.
Oh, I know where it is. There we are. Okay, there you guys are. All right, switched tabs. I'm like, where am I? Where'd you guys go? I found you again.
You don't close any tabs ever. You've never closed a tab in your life.
I've never met a tab I didn't like.
Horrible.
But yeah, I'm just trying to communicate on some level all the layers of goodness here, and preview. There's an intern coming on board, Patty and Sue. Melody, she's going to create the. What do you guys think of this? I'll drum roll, please. I'm going to test. I don't know, not test close, but anyway, here it is. What do you guys think about a blog called Dear Klooby? And it's based on Klooby Snacks, of course.
It's like a Dear Abby.
But like ultimately, people will like
Dear Abby.
Well, but that I'm some kind of taken. There's a Dear Abby already.
But I think she passed away, right?
Maybe, I don't know. We can look into it. But we're thinking about Dear Klooby. I think that because here's the thing. Jennifer Horspool made a really important comment last week, which was like, "Hey, Abigail, your genius is documented now. Like, it's in the pages. That genie's not going back in the bottle. Now, the next level of greatness for you, Abigail, is to get your friends to respond. The people that you influence, get them thinking about these snacks and get them to open up their thoughts. And what's your reaction to this? How do you interpret this? What meaning do you make of that?" And so now, a book is a book. It's static. It's kind of, there's notes at the end of each section for people to write notes. But we thought it would be overkill to put notes after every snack, right? But in blog form, with that digital interactive, we could put the snack. People can interact, and then either me or Abby can actually respond to people and create engagement and conversation. And it's something that neither Abby nor I would get off the ground, because it's not our trajectory to put on our resumes. I started a blog. But if an intern wants to start a blog that gives her access to social media management to promote the blog everywhere and start to get that experience, then Abigail and I will provide content and interaction within it. So that's something I think has got legs. I think that,
What about Instagram?
What about it?
Doing reels on Instagram.
Well, all of those. I just showed. I've got 30 pieces of stuff that can go.
I don't know how many. I think blogs are kind of passe in the world right now compared to reels and short form videos.
Well, the thing about a blog is that it's a link, right? And so every time you do a blog entry, you can take that link and you put it on social media, and then it's virtually the same thing. But I don't know. This is what she wants to do as an internship experience. So the idea, that's how I treat all the internships. Like, hey, what do you want to put on your resume in 3 months? Okay, let me give you the content and the systems that you need to go and make that happen. And so this is where we're at so far with it. But let's go ahead and drum roll ourselves into last call. Comments, questions, jokes, riddles, haikus, limericks, and gratitude.
I've got a question.
I have a question too.
Okay, cool. Sue and then Patty. This is juicy. Abby, are you ready?
Abby, question.
Yes.
I'm just going to ask it. Okay, as a mum, how do I stay relevant to your generation?
Oh no, this is a lot of pressure. This is a lot of pressure. I don't.
Wow, that's a good question.
Hold on, I need like a second. Can I have more words to more?
Well, okay. I'll give you an example. I sit at the dinner table because I live with my daughter and her boyfriend. I sit at the dinner table. The two of them might be having a conversation, and I've really got no idea what they're talking about. I don't want to be pushing conversation, but if I wanted to create an environment where there was more engagement, what sort of questions might I ask? I mean, there's the typical ones of what's your day, blah, blah, blah.
Well, what we do in my family that I actually implemented every Sunday night when we have dinner, because we're so busy throughout the week. So Sunday nights are our dinner nights. We do pits and peaches, where basically we all go around in a circle and we all have take a couple minutes. We have like a 2-minute limit.
Some of us get a time limit.
He gets limited on his speech. But we all go around first, and then each one by one will say the pits is like our least favorite parts of the week, like just like the hard parts of the week, what we didn't like, what we had to, all this stuff, like the stressful stuff. We say all of our pits, and then that kind of starts conversation. And then after we go back around and we say all of our best parts of our week. So then even if, so that's, which I implemented that one, but we have that stuck for a couple of years. And that's just like, we still get to know each other's wins for the week and stay involved and kind of stay updated. And there's sometimes where like 1 week, somebody's pit will be like, oh, I'm so stressed about this. And then the next week their peach is like, oh, like we got this sorted out and I'm so happy, whatever. So that's like a little thing we've done in our family. That's like really, really, really helped. I'd say we do it every week. And some of my friends have started doing it with their families when they come to dinner with us. And it's like, that's a little thing. And it starts conversation, and it's not like doesn't feel like you're like begging for a conversation or something. Sometimes it feels like that, especially with that. And sometimes if it's whatever, but this is not overwhelming. And that's my favorite part of our Sundays. So.
Thank you. I will give it a go.
I know Patty has a question, but in transition, let me say that while I recognize your question was for Abby and not for me, I think it's interesting that next week's Klooby Snack as a preview is when possible, Klooby Snack number 6, when possible, replace statements with questions, which is part of, I think, the layers of response to your question. But Patty, what do you got?
Well, I just was curious, Abby, if for your generation, what social media channel do you all like the best?
I think that the main, it depends. Every social media has different use. I think that the top two, it's really just TikTok and Instagram. I think that people use TikTok as a way to kind of, not that all of our information from TikTok is reliable, but I think that TikTok is a big information kind of source. And because of like the algorithm and everything, people see what they're interested in or what's around them and stuff that relates to them or their experiences or whatever. So TikTok is kind of like the information and how we find out about stuff. But then Instagram is where that stuff is more promoted, or Instagram is more about like the connection, and there's conversations through Instagram, and you can see people like based off of like your mutual connections through Instagram. So they're two completely different uses, but I think that those two are the top two
so
platforms, everything.
an easy question for me to follow up with here, unless you had something else, Patty,
No, that's fine. Thank
is
you.
is the bookend of your question, Patty, which is, what are the social media channels we will never find? You like Facebook, like none of you are on Facebook, right? Like, are there social media channels that like just no? What's the opposite? Like, yeah, go ahead.
I don't think. I mean, I don't even know what it is about Facebook, but it's just generally frowned upon by my generation. I'm not sure why, but I think that it's recently it has become very similar to Instagram. And they coincide where it's like if you post something on Facebook, it goes to Instagram. So I don't think that anybody my age or my generation would ever switch from Instagram to Facebook.
Right?
No,
right.
There's not really any purpose to do that.
It might be an ad at best, but not a switch from to.
Yeah. Oh, also, Jax has a question, I think.
Oh, yeah.
He's been sitting over here so peacefully.
Hang on. Do we want to make it? Hang on a second. Hang on. Hang on. We got to do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's been sitting so peacefully.
Okay, ready? Are you ready? Watch. Here it goes.
Okay.
Jax! Hey!
So hi, my name is Jax. I'm Abby's friend. To address what Sue said, I had a recommendation. You asked how to stay relevant to your daughter, and like you don't really understand the things that they discuss at the family dinner table. Well, I think, and I mean this might be hard or like a big learning curve, but you could download TikTok, and like every time they bring something up at the table, if it's like a pop culture reference or something like that, like search it up and like scroll through and see what it is, and if people like describe who it is, and then maybe like you'll learn, and then you can like have an opinion and be able to add to that discussion.
Yeah, adding on, TikTok is a big search engine now. There's a lot of stuff where you can like search up like a word, and then it'll give you a definition based off of things that have been posted in other TikToks. So you can search an event or a word or anything, and like it's a whole search engine. Like it's become it's a whole new thing recently.
It's not so much even that it's the people they talk about. I'm like, I have no idea where these people fit into your life.
Yeah,
I don't know who they are.
One, staying connected with them on social media and then seeing these posts prior. I don't even know. I think that a lot of people's lives, especially like our age or just and in the younger generation in general, a lot of their lives is on social media, documented somewhere.
I follow her on Instagram, and she doesn't really put a lot up, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, I like about what Jack's saying is like, well, the first thing is like, hey, jump right in and like get into the conversation right away with a good question, right? But Jack's like, hey, do some research.
Yeah, we'll do both.
Like observe their conversations in a different way. Do a little bit of research, and after 3 or 4 conversations, you might have a corpus of material that you feel comfortable to jump in with. That's pretty fun. I will say this: this whole conversation reminds me of something cute. Like my grandmother. Right? I grew up in San Fernando Valley, so I was a Valley dude, right? And my cousin Michelle, she's a Valley girl for sure, totally. Gag me with a spoon, Valley girl. And and it was like the funniest thing when Grandma B thought that cousin Michelle was dating somebody named Amal. Like, did you hear about cousin Michelle's new boyfriend, Amal? Amal? Yeah, because I was talking to Michelle and she's like, I'm all this and I'm all that. And then he's all, and then I'm all, and I'm all, and I'm all like that was.
Okay,
like, yeah. And so it's like, it takes us a little bit of time to understand the lingo and the terms and the phrases and the stuff they're throwing out there. And Brody was cute yesterday, something about like talking about like teaching people the Gen Alpha lingo and the words that they use. And I don't know. It just there's a cute through line here that every generation has to deal with this on some level. I'd like to take a moment to remind everybody that that what's always true is our desire to stay relevant in your lives. Mm-hmm. That's not going away. So thank you for any help that you give us in that regard, Jax. What else you got? What else you got tonight, Jax?
I had a question. So Sue, do you know any of the names of the people they talk about like at dinner that you don't know, or any of the things that confuse you?
I never get that feeling, like the feeling that Sue described, right? I don't have that feeling like I don't understand, or I think the other things that I've been forthcoming about, like I just want to spend time with Abby. I just want to talk with her where it's not like superior subordinate, or it's not surveillance, or it's not reporting, or it's not parenting, or it's not weighing consequences, or it's not. I just want to hang out with this brilliant girl. You know, I just think she's brilliant. Watching all the episodes of Glee with you, like that was cool. I would never choose to watch Glee on my own, but with you, I'll watch anything.
Yeah, I think that. Adding on to, I think that one thing is like kind of see what you did with the book is when you find something that they're willing to talk about or share, like really like jumping on that. Because I remember I talked to my dad about how I loved this show Glee, and I loved it so much, and I was rewatching it, and then he was like, "Oh, we could watch it together," and I was like, "Yeah." So then over during quarantine, this is our thing. Every night we would watch like an episode or two. So he found that one little way to connect, and then he stuck with that. And then even now, like we still make references to that, like to the episodes you watched like years ago.
Well, now it's like shrinking, but I've like, you and I spent so much time together on the book. I'm kind of letting that be a you and mom thing, and I'll nibble when I can. Yeah. Right. But that's another powerful thing is like, we were hoping that you would be into the show because we both knew that there's so much understanding for us to share together without having to confront each other, but we can just like watch what's going on there, and our minds will fill in the gaps, and we can understand. It's really good. It's really good.
Weirdly, there's a lot of connection that can be made through media consumption, like through like watching shows together that say things that like you don't want to say, or just bonding over shows or books or music or anything like that. I think that's a big thing because my mom and I, it's like we have our time, and we watch 1 or 2 episodes a night where it's like she'll text me and she's like, "Come down, like let's watch." And we come down, we watch 2 episodes of our show, and just sitting there bonding over the same thing that's like our time to connect for the night. So if there's like a show that she likes, or if there's anything like that, like stuff like that, I would.
Well, thanks, guys.
I know your question was directed to Abigail, but I'm still going to offer a little bit of advice if I can. I can't help it. And here's like it's so obvious, but like just find a way to say to your daughter, "Hey, you know what? I really don't know how, but I really want to stay relevant in your life. Can you know that and help me? Like, just let me know what works for you. Like, I don't want it to be weird. I just want you to know I really want to stay relevant in your life. Yeah. So if you have any ideas about how I can stay relevant in your life, I'm all ears." We don't necessarily have to figure it out and then show up having figured it out. Like, why not just ask? Why not just tell her the truth? Like, "Hey, I love you. I want to hang out with you. I want to be relevant. Help me, help you, help me, help you, help me." That's one thing. Last call. Anybody else? Jax, did you get your question asked?
I just wanted to say that, like, Sue, I don't know if your daughter, obviously she doesn't realize it yet, but like the amount of work that you're putting in, being on the Zoom and all that to try and stay relevant and have a connection with her is a really great thing. And you're a great mom working for that. And I know a lot of other parents might not put as much effort in. And so I want to congratulate you, and to you too, Patty, for working hard on trying to cultivate relationships with your guys' kids.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I had to.
Like Steph said, like one day they'll realize. Like,
my son is interested in unidentified aerial phenomena, and so he had me read a 278-page book, which I had no desire to read, but I did it to stay relevant.
Exactly.
It's the little things.
The sacrifices we make for our children will never. Anyway, all right, you guys. Well, listen, this has been extraordinarily wonderful, Jax. It's great to see you. You're welcome to join in anytime, whether you're here under the roof or online somewhere. You can just click yourself on into the conversation. You are so more than welcome to here anytime. And Patty and Sue, thank you for being here and literally, helping my daughter raise me. Thank you. And
it's a tough job.
It is.
It takes a village. It takes a village. All right, you guys. That's it for Klooby Snack number 5. Ain't no jive. We're 10% of the way through the year, but we've got 47 more to go. This is awesome.
There you go.
All right, you guys. Have a great night, everyone. We'll talk soon.
Bye, guys.
All right. Good night.
Thank you. See ya.